Working with people and projects these days feels like a ball of yarn. It's so easy to break something up, and it requires good coordination, good planning, and the hard work of the entire team to first get back on track and then start improving.
My name is Theodora, and one of my passions is fixing broken workflows for business and marketing teams with Jira and Confluence. And during this session, I will show you key aspects of how to implement simple yet effective solutions to create a collaboration flow that fits. But before we begin, I want to thank you for joining this event. PM72's goal is to support the Malala Fund, the work of educators and advocates who support girls' secondary education around the world. Thank you to Jigsaw, Resolution, Outstreet, and all the event sponsors. The variety of tools in the market is both a blessing and a curse. It's a common mistake for companies to start onboarding a new tool and switch to another shortly after. Adopting heavy platforms like Monday, Asana, Basecamp, Trello, Jira, or Hive requires time and training, and jumping from one platform to another is the fastest way to bring a new level of distraction and frustration to your team. So, why do you need this change at the first place? Let's see some possible cases. Your company already has a project management tool but wants to implement something better. Or your company is currently evaluating one or more project management tools, and maybe you're currently adopting a new project management tool or even entire methodology. There is a common path you can follow to increase your chances of improving your project flow without sacrificing too many brain cells. Let me introduce you to my 5 steps for improving team and project efficiency. They're more stable than bullet points, but they help me become more confident in my end goals when starting a new business or a marketing project. Always look at your team first. If you need to restructure or improve your entire workflow, take a step back. Most of our project management struggles are more connected to the team than the project itself. Miscommunication and lack of ownership are the most common issues of the blocked initiatives, and teams perform best when they understand their roles and their responsibilities. Important thing here is make team members accountable for different segments of your project. It will become more manageable and easy to fit into any tool. How is your project going? Is your current tooling improving or slowing the process down? How engaged is your team? Asking the right questions is essential for finding the sweet spot and the flaws. Encourage people to share their feedback on what is going well and not working as desired. Engage your team not just by asking for feedback, but allowing them to join the process. Give responsibilities like researching, assessing, or beta testing a solution. Ask them for help. That's not a sign of weakness, but trust. And something especially for you. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Easier said than done, right? We all tend to do our best to avoid the wrong moves and the mistakes, but following a specific use case or methodology strictly may be a little tricky. It often kills creativity, which is a must-have when you want to fine-tune your desired approach. And true creativity requires a certain degree of mistakes. Learn the rules to break the rules. That's something very important for me. So if you want to be a successful rebel, you must be smart. Learn, try, and listen. Once you know the end-to-end project management process, you have the ability to change it by your preference successfully. But let's see how this applies to Jira and Confluence. If your company uses the Atlassian stack, it makes perfect sense for your business or marketing team to stick to it. But sometimes that's kind of a struggle. What makes the Agile adoption so hard for business and marketing teams? Probably, if your entire company is counting on Agile and Scrum to fully function, your marketing team is somehow obliged to try to adopt one way or another. But marketing is not an exact science, and frequently it's impossible to estimate your team's content producing productivity in story points, or leave some important news or social post for the next week because you can't break your sprint at the current moment. Interestingly, the Agile methodology of project management refers to the ability to build and act on changes. So, why are teams who are thriving on changes struggle to find fit? Shortest answer here, they overcomplicate the process. And there is some probability for your team to still be stuck in a waterfall process that it's probably too slow or heavy to quickly adapt to changes. Let me plug in a curious science-based fact here. Do you know that the total amount of real productive time on an average 8-hour workday is 2 hours and 23 minutes? This can be translated to if your process is too complex, your team will spend more time figuring out how to work than actually working. And now you're probably thinking, oh, where are you going with this random plant and a cat? Theodora, we know this. It's not always easy to simplify an entire methodology. Well, yes and no. But if you're stuck in an endless agile and waterfall transition to try and fix your project management struggles, it's normal for you to not see the light. Even when you label yourself as an agile team, your process may be too slow or too heavy. Or by using waterfall, you can see a negative impact on your flexibility and still feel like you need to be more agile. There is an option to get the best of both worlds. Both waterfall and agile are two very different approaches, so combining them must be done very carefully. We call this the hybrid approach. For the hybrid approach to work long term, there needs to be a clear line between who's doing agile and who is doing waterfall. We often see organizations cherry picking specific agile components and incorporating them into their usual waterfall approach, and that isn't a successful hybrid methodology. That's just an organization in transition trying to move from waterfall to agile gradually. If you view it as a ladder, it works as long as it's recognized that an organization can't be in transition forever, and you will eventually need to make the leap to agile. But if you view it as a hybrid and the intention is to carry on that way indefinitely, you're really just a waterfall pretending to be a bit agile. Already confused? Me too. For example, it's easy to think you're agile if you're doing sprints, but Scrum is very specific and well-defined agile framework, and the moment you start dropping bits of it, you start to lose all the benefits of it. So, you must dig into why you're taking a hybrid approach. Were you previously doing waterfall, but the changing times had forced you to incorporate agile? If so, look at hybrid as a stepping stone to full agile. And that's where Jira and Confluence can really help you. So, how to succeed here? By reducing the time and effort needed by a single person of your team to find, understand, and begin to work on a specific task. Sounds simple? And it is. As someone said for Confluence, everyone could see how an idea flows from strategy to execution. That's our goal here. One single information hub for all your activities. And that's what Confluence is built for. And with the dramatic shift of work in the past 2 years, your teams rely on written information more than ever. Usage of Confluence best practices, templates, creating of spaces, proper structure can help you and your team quickly jump on the right track. From fully utilizing your personal space to sharing blogs and articles with your team or collaborating with them on larger activities like we did here with Atlassian Team 2022. By having enough information displayed at one place, your distributed teams work cohesively around time zones and their work hours. But what about Jira, the nightmare of business and marketing teams? It's a long road since Jira was only an engineering tool. With Jira Software, Jira Work Management, and even Jira Service Management, you can set up a very well balanced workflow, from planning to assignment and even tracking. To do, in progress, in review, done. Why bother with more status lanes? Start with the base by using straightforward workflows and only the necessary components. Your needs in Jira will grow with your skills. Don't feel obligated to follow all recommendations about Jira and Confluence at one time. Use your action plan, create in Jira, and your knowledge hub, creating Confluence, to give your team everything they need to grab a coffee and start working. Something I consider very important about your Jira and Confluence productivity is the seamless integration between platforms. You can link your Confluence pages to any Jira issue. You can integrate with Slack and receive notifications, and you can use all the shortcuts your tools provide. The problem you're solving here, by spending less time searching for details, your team spends its productive time working on what matters most. And yes, sometimes clicking on too many tabs or switching between tools are details. What if you already adopted all of this and the core Jira and Confluence functionality is not enough for your needs? Well, Atlassian Marketplace offers a great variety of tools to help you shape your process by your needs, not your needs by your process. And using apps and integrations, you can further reduce your manual work time. You can craft your business process with additions like reporting or project tracking tools, or give your marketing teams the ability to share content, plan, or track right in Confluence. Here in NoteStreet, we try our best to work quickly and effectively, so let's take a curious look behind my project here. It's not just the beautiful Google Slides. Starting with a simple page in Confluence, moving through the entire activity in Jira, and as you can see, I'm not even close to finishing this presentation, but hopefully you're now watching and I made it. Jumping to an actual collaboration work with our head of content, working on the project script, leaving and resolving comments without a single Zoom call. And that was just a simple one project example, but having a good structure and coordination in Jira and Confluence help us move more projects at the same time with the same effectiveness.
Thank you for joining my session and the PM72 event. I hope you find it useful and learned something from it. And just for you to know, I'm always ready to argue about Jira and Confluence. Good luck with all your project management struggles, and don't forget,